Exposed, 12 years of silence. Amazing German Shepherd and Officer discover life-changing truth. Officer Jake Thompson, a rock in the storm of small-town chaos, stood on the edge of the abandoned lot, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows over cracked concrete. The whispers of the townsfolk echoed in his mind, a familiar chorus of blame and scrutiny. 12 long years haunted him, a little girl named Hannah vanished, and Jake had never brought her home. The weight of that cold case felt heavier than the gun on his hip. Yet beside him, his faithful German shepherd, Max, remained an unwavering source of loyalty and love, a reminder that he was not alone. That day, as summer's heat hung thick in the air, Max's nose twitched, searching for scents only he could decipher. Suddenly, he bolted towards a tangle of weeds and a rusted fence. Jake's heart raced. What was the dog onto now? He followed, pushing past stale memories that clung like cobwebs. With each step, the townspeople's judgment pressed down harder on his shoulders. "Why can't you solve it, officer? She was just a girl." Max began digging. Jake's breath hitched, tightening in his chest. It wasn't just a job, it was a broken promise to Lily, his daughter who had grown distant over the years, frustrated by his relentless dedication to a job that felt like a never-ending cycle of grief. "Just give me one more moment with her," Jake whispered to the wind, hands trembling as he knelt beside his furry partner. Then it happened. The ground beneath Max shifted, revealing a familiar pink ribbon, Hannah's ribbon. Joy and heartbreak collided in Jake's chest. "This could change everything, Max," he said, the thrill of hope mixing with years of despair. The ribbon, a symbol of innocence lost, was like a spark igniting in the heart of the community once more. Would they finally learn the truth? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The discovery sent ripples through the town. Old wounds opened wide, as Jake could nearly hear the whispers and see the questioning faces lining the streets. "What did you find? Why now, Jake?" They wanted answers, he owed them that, but at what cost? With each passing day, the pressure built. Conversations at the diner buzzed with speculation, fingers pointed in his direction. Jake's heart ached not only for the truth behind Hannah's disappearance but also for his daughter, who sat in silence, drowning in resentment for the absence of a father who was never home. The realization hit him, he was missing her childhood. As Jake prepared to confront the truths buried beneath years of silence, he steeled himself for a revelation that could shatter everything he thought he knew. He took a deep breath and felt Max's warmth beside him, the only constant in a world filled with uncertainty. Could he bear the weight of what lay ahead? And would his family survive the storm that was about to break? The questions hung heavy in the air, as every instinct screamed that this was only the beginning. Jake held the pink ribbon tightly, its faded fabric a haunting reminder of what once was. Voices swirled around him, the townspeople's curiosity mixing with hushed gossip. "What did you find, Jake?" echoed in his ears as he tried to steady his racing heart. He needed to act, but the fear of failure gripped him like a vice as he crouched down beside Max, who was now sniffing intently at the exposed dirt. "What do you think, boy?" he murmured, ruffling the dog's ears. For a moment, the weight of the world slipped away, leaving just the two of them. Max's dark eyes looked up at him, full of unwavering faith. It reminded him of the kind of faith he had lost: faith in himself, faith in the pursuit of justice, and above all, faith in being the father Lily needed. Pushing himself upright, Jake took one last glance at the ribbon. This was no longer just a fragment of memory, it was a lifeline. He had to find out what it meant. He had to know if it pointed to Hannah, or if it would unravel the dark threads that had woven through his life these past 12 years. With renewed determination, he looked toward the town. He approached the diner that sat at the center of town, where coffee brewed strong and gossip brewed stronger. As he pushed through the door, familiar faces turned, conversations halted. The smell of grease clung to the air, comfortable and distracting. But today, it felt heavy, like a storm brewing just beneath the surface. He spotted Mrs. Henderson in the corner, her hands shaking as she poured cream into her coffee. "Jake! You're back," she said, her eyes darting to the ribbon he clutched. "Did you? Is it true?" "Just let me talk, please," he said, the stress surging within him. "I found something that could lead to answers about Hannah." The room went silent, the clatter of dishes muted in anticipation. A pink ribbon, like the one she wore. Gasps filled the air, and Jake saw both hope and fear flicker across faces. The air was thick with expectation as they awaited news that could finally bring closure or reopen wounds. He braced himself. "I don't know what it means yet, but I need your help. I need to talk to anyone who may know something." Mrs. Henderson nodded, her mouth a tight line. "Everyone wants to help. We've just been waiting for someone to bring it up. We've buried this too long." Just then, the door swung open, and in walked Lily. She stood frozen, her expression caught between worry and confusion. The heat of shame washed over him. Had he dragged her into this mess again? "Dad?" She called tentatively, her voice wavering as her eyes locked onto the ribbon. "What's happening?" Jake's heart ached as he met her gaze. "I found a clue about Hannah," he said, voice barely above a whisper, the weight of their history crashing down on them. In that moment, he wanted nothing more than to reach out, to bridge the years of silence that had grown between them. "Dad," Lily stepped forward, vulnerability cracking through her tough shell. You promised you'd bring her back." Those words hung between them like a challenge, a reminder that he was not just searching for answers, but also for redemption in the eyes of the daughter he had failed. He took a deep breath, his voice firm yet gentle. "I will, Lily. I will do everything in my power to find the truth." Outside, dark clouds gathered ominously like the tempest building in his life, threatening to unleash all that was hidden. Jake's pulse quickened. The truth was near, but at what cost? Could he unearth what had been buried for so long without losing everything else he held dear? As they all stood on the brink of a revelation, Jake felt the ground shift yet again beneath him. The storm was coming, and with it, the promise of answers that might change everything or tear them apart. Jake felt the weight of the town's gaze, a cauldron of emotion simmering just below the surface. He swallowed hard, scanning the faces that surrounded him. Each one reflected a different aspect of the past they shared, a patchwork of sorrow, hope, and unspoken questions. As Mrs. Henderson spoke up again, her voice trembled. "What do we have to do?" "We start with the ribbon," he replied, his hands gripping it tighter. "I need anyone who remembers Hannah, any details, memories, anything that might connect to this." Lily stepped a little closer, her chin raised defiantly, but Jake could see the worry pooling in her eyes. He could almost hear the thoughts racing through her mind. What if they found something painful? What if they didn't find anything at all? "Dad, I can help," she offered, her voice steadier now, though he could sense the flickering of her fear. Jake felt a warmth spread through him at her eagerness, a reminder that despite the years of distance, Lily still wanted to be part of this journey. "Okay. You can help, but we need to tread carefully. The last thing we want to do is hurt anyone." The diner echoed with murmurs, voices weaving in and out like a chaotic melody. People were reluctant but keen, apprehensive yet hopeful. After a moment, Mr. Thompson, a voice of reason in the town, stepped forward. "I remember the last time I saw Hannah. She was at the park playing tag with the kids." The mention of the park sparked a wave of chatter. Several others chimed in, adding fragments of memories, her laughter, the way her hair glimmered in the sun, the songs she used to sing. Each memory felt like a piece of a puzzle, nudging Jake closer to the truth he desperately sought. Do you remember if she wore anything special that day? Jake asked, leaning in, the ribbon faintly crinkling in his grip. Mr. Thompson's brow furrowed in concentration. I don't know, but I do remember the pink ribbon. It stood out. She was so proud of it. A hush fell over the diner as that piece landed. Could it be a coincidence? Jake's gut twisted at the thought that this ribbon might not just reconnect him with Hannah, but also with the sweet moments of joy they had shared. Let's South go to the park then, Lily suggested, nudging the memories along. Maybe someone there will know more. Good idea, Jake replied, a mixture of excitement and dread bubbling inside him. The park held so many memories for him, but they were now overlaid with darkness. However, if this ribbon held a connection to Hannah, he wouldn't shy away. As Jake ushered Lily and a few others out of the diner, he caught several eyes filled with cautious encouragement. He felt the collective hope of the townspeople begin to swell within him, a reminder that they were in this together. The past seemed to entwine with the present, its weight both daunting and electrifying. They reached the park, sunlight flirting with the trees. The laughter of children echoed, but it felt like a distant memory to Jake. As they walked, every step felt heavier, laden with the possibility of uncovering things better left buried. Dad, do you think we'll find her? Lily asked, a hint of vulnerability creeping back into her voice. Jake turned to her, determination etched on his face. Whatever we find, we will face it together. That's what family does. But even he didn't realize just how much they were about to discover and what raw truths lingered in the shadows waiting to surface. As they approached the swings where bright laughter once echoed, anxiety filled the air. What secrets did the park hold? Little did they know, the answer was closer than they imagined, lingering in the air like a long-lost whisper. The park bustled with life, an orchestra of laughter and shouts ricocheting against the tall oaks. But amidst the joy, Jake felt an unsettling pit in his stomach. Each sound carried with it a distant memory of Hannah, and with it, a weight of unspoken sorrow. Lily glanced up at him, her wide eyes reflecting both anticipation and dread. Do you really think we can find something? After all this time? He hesitated. The question hung between them, heavy with meaning. We have to try, sweetie. It's about understanding, about getting the closure we all need. Stepping onto the grass, memories flooded Jake. Hannah running in circles, her laughter like music, pure and innocent. He forced a smile, but the edges felt brittle. He led the way to the swings, where countless afternoons had melted into sweet sunsets. As they arrived, a couple of parents watched their kids play nearby. Jake took a breath, gathering his thoughts. Excuse me, he called out, his heart racing, does anyone remember Hannah? She used to play here years ago. One of the mothers looked up, her eyebrow raised. Hannah? The girl with the pink ribbon? I remember her, she was sweet. Do you remember anything specific? Jake pressed, feeling the drum of his heart quicken. She nodded slowly, her gaze distant. I saw her about a week before she disappeared. She was talking about a secret place in the woods near the old oak tree. She was so excited. Jake's pulse quickened at that revelation. A secret place? Yeah. She said it was special to her. Maybe she was looking for something lost. Lily shifted beside Jake, an inquisitive expression on her face. Like treasure? The mother smiled softly, but there was a hint of sadness behind it. You know, children often attribute magic to things we don't understand as adults. It could be anything. Can you remember where this old oak was? Jake asked, a sense of purpose igniting within him. Just a little walk from here, by the creek, she replied, pointing down a path shaded by trees. But I wouldn't go there if I were you. It's been years. Jake looked at Lily, whose eyes sparkled with a mix of concern and hope. We have to check it out, right? Yeah, she whispered, we have to. As they walked toward the path, Jake felt the weight of every step they took. This was more than just a stroll through the park, it was a journey into the depths of buried memories. When they arrived at the oak tree, its gnarled branches spread like hands reaching into the sky. The surroundings felt charged, a decade of silence hanging in the air. Lily approached, brushing her fingers against the rough bark. "Do you think she really liked this place?" "More than anything," Jake replied softly, feeling the pang of regret. Suddenly, something caught the corner of his eye. He stepped closer, his heart racing. There, half buried in the ground were faded colors, remnants of what looked like a ribbon. "Lily, come here." Jake called, his voice shaky with excitement and fear. She dashed over, her face transforming from curiosity to disbelief. "Is that?" Jake knelt, the ribbon's pink hue vibrant even in its worn state. It tugged at his heartstrings, connecting him to moments long lost. But as he unearthed it, a shiver coursed through him. What other secrets lay buried beneath those roots? With the ribbon cradled in his palm, Jake could almost hear Hannah's laughter again. But with each breath he took, a sense of foreboding flickered. What if this marked the beginning of something he wasn't ready to confront? The sunlight dipped lower, shadows creeping as the trees swayed, whispering secrets of their own. What other memories waited to be uncovered? Jake stood, holding the ribbon tightly, feeling the trembling roots of truth beneath his feet. As Lily looked up at him, a question gleamed in her eyes. What happens next? He swallowed hard, knowing they were standing at the edge of something profound. Next, we find out together. But deep down, Jake knew this was just the beginning. A whirlwind of revelations was gathering strength, waiting to unleash whatever truths had been shackled in the past. Would they be ready? As Jake stood there, the pink ribbon felt heavy in his palm, a small treasure fraught with memories. Lily's eyes searched his face, eager for reassurance yet tinged with uncertainty. They were both acutely aware that they were on the verge of uncovering something significant, something that had been hidden for far too long. "What do you think it means?" Lily asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake took a deep breath, the air thick with nostalgia and tension. "I think it means Hannah cared deeply about this place. She must have thought it was special, like a hidden world just for her." They took a step back from the ancient tree, finding the ground under their feet suddenly unsteady. Would they only find remnants of the past today, or was there something more waiting for them? "Do you think there's any more?" Lily's question hung in the air, weighing heavily. He forced himself to look at her, resolute. "We won't know unless we look." With that, they began to circle the tree, scanning the area beneath its expansive branches. The bushes rustled softly, as if the world itself was holding its breath. As they rummaged through old leaves and twigs, something glimmered in the moonlight, a small metal box, tucked away beside the roots. Jake's heart thundered as he knelt to uncover it. "Lily, help me." Together, they cleared the earth around it. The box was tarnished but intricately designed, almost like a treasure chest from a childhood story. With shaking hands, Jake managed to pry it open. The hinges creaked, and what they found inside made them both gasp. Photos. Faded snapshots of Hannah playing with friends, swinging on these very swings, laughing at that very park. But there was more: small trinkets, handwritten notes, and even a tiny crystal. This was her secret place, this was her treasure, Jake whispered, emotion welling up in his throat. Lily's small fingers trembled as she picked up a note, her brow furrowing. "Can I read it?" "Of course," he replied, watching as she opened the fragile paper with great care. Her eyes danced across the words, and then she looked up, a spark of understanding brightening her face. "It says she wanted to keep this safe until she could come back. She wanted us to remember her just like this." A knot formed in Jake's throat. Every syllable felt like a weight lifting, yet simultaneously adding to the grief. "Hannah thought she'd be back." "Yes, but we can keep her memory alive," Lily said, her voice almost a proclamation. Jake smiled, the warmth spreading through the deep ache in his chest. Yet, as they sat under the mighty oak, it dawned on him that this act of remembrance was more than a way to celebrate Hannah, it was also a means to confront their pain. What if we bring this all back to the park? To share with everyone? Jake suggested, inspired by the thought of connecting Hannah's past with their present. But the moment was pierced by a sudden chill that swept through the grove, causing the branches to sway ominously. It felt like a warning. "Dad." Lily's voice faltered, a frown crossing her face. "What if someone doesn't want us to find this?" Jake's heart skipped. "You're right. Maybe we need to uncover more before we share. We don't know what else is out there. What if it's connected?" As the light began to fade, an unsettling thought settled in Jake's mind. What truths had Hannah left behind, stored in the shadows of the woods? And what danger could lurk just beyond their discovery? "Let us dig deeper," Jake said, his resolve fortified by a blend of dread and determination. With the ribbon and the box cradled securely, they ventured deeper into the woods, knowing well they were about to unravel a past that might change everything they thought they knew, but what else awaited them in the depths of the unknown? As they pressed on, the shadows grew longer and darker. The once familiar path twisted under the emerald canopies, making every step feel like they were treading into a different world, one filled with mystery and echoes of history. Jake tightened his grip on the metal box, the weight of it pressing against his chest like a guiding compass, urging them deeper, just as it had led them to this moment. "Do you think we're close?" Lily asked, her voice a blend of excitement and fear. "I don't know," Jake admitted, glancing around. "But we'll know something, just keep your eyes peeled." The woodland seemed to come alive, rustling softly, as if whispering secrets from the past. The soft crunch of leaves underfoot gave way to a deeper silence, each sound magnified by the stillness surrounding them. It was as if the forest itself was listening, waiting for them to uncover whatever lay hidden in its heart. After what seemed like an eternity, they stumbled upon a small clearing. At the center stood a giant boulder covered in moss, its surface unyielding but marked by years of nature's past embrace. Jake felt an inexplicable pull toward it, almost as if it were beckoning him to come closer. "What is it?" Lily's eyes were wide with wonder as she approached the rock, her fingers brushing against its cold surface. "There might be something here," Jake said, kneeling down to inspect the ground around the stone. He noticed a series of scratches and faint carvings that looked familiar, almost like they were words. "Is that?" Lily knelt beside him, squinting to see better. "It looks like a name, Hannah." Jake's heart raced. He traced the letters with his fingers, each one igniting a spark of recognition. "It is." This was her spot, a place no one else knew about. But just as excitement bubbled within, doubt crept in. But why here? What did she want us to find? Lily's eyes welled up with curiosity and concern as she looked around the clearing. Maybe there are more memories hiding here, things she wanted us to discover with her. They began to dig at the roots of the boulder, digging through dirt and layers of moss. Time seemed to stand still around them. Then Jake's hand struck something hard. "What is that?" Lily asked, her breath hitching with anticipation. Jake pushed harder, unearthing a small wooden chest, ornate yet weathered. "It's another box." He cleared the dirt away, revealing its delicate carvings that looked like swirling waves. Heart pounding, he opened the chest, revealing a collection of letters, photos, and a journal, yellowed with age. Excitement surged within him, but so did a familiar tightness in his chest. Each letter, each page was a reminder of the laughter, of a life they had lost too soon. "What's in there?" Lily leaned closer, her eyes bright with hope. "I don't know yet. But I think it might hold the answer to the questions we have," Jake said, feeling a tangle of emotions swirl within him. As he flipped through the pages of the journal, one entry caught his eye. "I found a way to escape the sadness, if only I can find a true friend again." What does that mean? Lily's brow furrowed, uncertainty flickering in her gaze. Jake met her eyes, realizing that uncovering Hannah's story would uncover more than just memories, it might uncover secrets better left buried. "Let us keep reading." "We need to know what she meant by that," he said, an insistent urgency in his voice, but just as he turned the page, the air grew chilly again, and an unnerving feeling danced along his spine. Something wasn't right, as if they were not alone after all. "Jake, do you feel that?" He swallowed hard and nodded, his heart racing. "We should go back. Now." But as they turned to leave, a shadow shifted at the edge of the clearing, watching them with intent. What if it's not just Hannah's story? Jake thought, dread spreading within him. And as they took a step back into the woods, a new reality set in. Some secrets are deeply buried for a reason, and they were about to find out why. The shadows twisted further as they backed away from the ominous presence lurking at the edge of the clearing. Jake's pulse throbbed in his ears, drowning out the gentle rustle of leaves. He exchanged a panicked glance with Lily, her wide eyes mirroring his own fear. "Do you see it?" Lily whispered, her voice trembling. "Yeah, I do," Jake said, choking on the lump in his throat. He felt the cold sweat trailing down his back. The journal slipped from his hands, hitting the dirt with an unsettling thud. "Run?" Lily's voice was barely a breath, but the urgency in her eyes screamed yes. Before Jake could respond, the shadow lunged forward, breaking through the underbrush. A figure emerged, obscured by the dim light filtering through the trees. Jake's heart raced. Was it a ghost? Would they truly encounter the dead past in the flesh? "Who's there?" he shouted, the defiance in his voice faltering as it echoed back from the towering trees around them. The figure paused, stepping into the slant of fading sunlight, and Jake felt a flicker of relief and recognition. It was a woman, her long dark hair falling like a curtain around her shoulders. The heavy blank expression barely registered, but Jake knew her instantly. It was Hannah. "Hannah?" he gasped, confusion mingling with shock. Her lips parted as if to answer, but then she clutched at the air, as if fighting against some unseen force. "No. You shouldn't be here." "What do you mean?" Lily asked, stepping closer, her voice trembling but defiant. You wanted us to find this place." "I didn't want you to find me," Hannah cried, her eyes darting to the ground. "I've hidden for so long you don't understand, it's dangerous." Jake's heart twisted. They had come to uncover her story, the letters and journal, to finally connect, to bring light to her past. But now? Everything was shrouded in fear. "Dangerous?" Jake echoed, swallowing hard. "How? What happened to you?" "Too many memories, too many shadows." Hannah's response came in a rush. "Please, leave. You don't know who's watching, they can't find you here." A shiver ran through Jake. He sensed there was more, something lurking just beyond her frantic gaze. Before he could utter another word, the ground beneath them trembled, and a gust of wind whipped through the clearing, snagging leaves and swirling them around wildly. "Hannah!" Lily called, desperation in her voice. "We want to help." "Help?" Hannah laughed bitterly, the sound hollow against the stillness. "You can't help me, you can only help yourselves." A deafening crack split the air, followed by an echoing roar from deeper in the woods, the unmistakable sound of branches breaking under the weight of something massive. Jake turned instinctively toward the source, his stomach sinking as dread twisted tighter in his chest. "What is that?" he whispered, barely able to keep fear from coating his voice. Hannah's eyes widened in pure terror. "They're here. We have to go. Now." Without waiting for a response, she spun around and dashed away into the dense forest, leaving Jake and Lily no time to think. They exchanged a frantic glance and sprinted after her, their breaths coming in quick escapes against the backdrop of crashing branches. As they raced to keep up, thoughts tangled in Jake's mind. Who was watching them? And what truths were they about to unlock that were better left hidden? In the heavy silence of the woodland, dread followed them like a shadow, growing darker with every hurried step. They needed answers. And fast. But just as hope flickered, a chilling howl echoed through the air, sending a wave of fear washing over them. "Don't look back," Jake shouted, urging Lily on. Yet, the remnants of Hannah's haunting warning lingered in the air. Some truths are buried for a reason, and what they might uncover next could change everything. They stumbled through the underbrush, branches scraping against their arms and legs. Jake's thoughts raced, each thud of his heart echoing the fear in Lily's eyes. They were running blind, propelled by the sheer intensity of the moment. Hannah was ahead, a fleeting figure against the backdrop of twisted trees, her desperation palpable. "Wait!" Jake called, but Hannah didn't slow. Panic surged through him. What if they lost her in this labyrinth of shadows? What if they never learned the truth? He reached for Lily, clutching her hand tightly. "We can't lose her." Just as they broke free from the trees, a clearing opened up, bathed in the fading light of dusk. Hannah stood at the edge, her form rigid, staring into the distance. Jake and Lily skidded to a halt beside her, catching their breath as they followed her gaze. Beyond the clearing lay an ancient stone structure, half-crumbled and overgrown with vines. It had a haunting beauty, but Jake felt a shudder at the sight. Something about it felt wrong, like it was holding its breath, waiting for them to make the next move. "Hannah, what is that?" Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "They can feel us," Hannah replied, her voice a shaky thread. "They're guarding it. You mustn't go near." "But we have to know," Jake insisted, longing to understand the connection that pulled them all here. "Whatever is inside, it's been hidden for a reason." "Yes," Hannah said, her eyes glistening. "But sometimes, the truth is worse than the unknown. It could destroy you." The growl of something unseen echoed from the woods, less distant this time, and Jake felt a chill wash over him. Whatever was watching, it was hungry for them. "We can't turn back now," Jake murmured to Lily, his heart pounding against his chest. "If we leave, we'll never have a chance to find out." Lily's grip tightened around his hand, a sign of her resolve. She nodded, eyes burning with determination. "If we can uncover what happened to you, Hannah, maybe we can change it. Maybe we can free you." Hannah laughed again, but this time it held a mix of despair and hope. "You really think you can save me? You don't even know the half of it." Suddenly, shadows flickered at the edge of the clearing, figures moving deeper into the darkness. Panic rose anew. "We have to move. Now," Hannah said, urgency rushing her words. They took off again, sprinting toward the stone structure. Jake glanced back. The shapes were closer, moving fast and silent, like smoke weaving between trees. "What do we do when we get there?" Lily asked, her voice strained. "Find the truth," Hannah said, her eyes fierce. The moment they reached the stone, an overwhelming wave of energy pulsed through the air. Jake pressed his palm against the cold surface, heart racing. There was something powerful hidden within, something that felt alive. "Jake!" Lily shouted, tugging at his shoulder. "They're coming." Before he could respond, the ground beneath them shook. A flash of shadows surged toward them with terrifying speed. Fear surged through him, knotting his stomach. "Get inside!" Hannah yelled. They rushed through the crumbling entrance just as the chaos erupted behind them. The darkness swirled in, howling like a wounded animal. Panting and desperate, they huddled together, the ancient walls trembling around them. What awaited them inside was a truth so deeply buried that unraveling it might shatter everything they thought they knew. And as the shadows crashed into the doorway, Jake knew they were no longer just seekers of knowledge, they were now part of that very darkness. "Are you ready for what's next?" Lily whispered, her eyes wide with fear. A thought crossed Jake's mind, chilling him to the bone. What if the truth is worse than we fear? As they faced the unknown, they braced themselves for the revelation that awaited. Would they emerge whole or fragmented, lost in a web of secrets that refused to die? Inside the stone structure, darkness enveloped them, alive with echoes that reverberated like distant whispers. Jake's heart raced, every beat a reminder of the urgency pressing down on them. He could feel the chill creeping into his bones, a stark contrast to the warmth of Lily's hand in his. "Hannah," he said, his voice barely breaking the thick silence, "what do we do now?" Hannah stepped forward, her silhouette cutting through the shadows as she guided them deeper into the ruin. Each step felt heavy, the air thickening as if it was laced with the weight of secrets long buried. The walls were adorned with strange carvings, faded etchings of faces twisted in agony and joy. It was a history frozen in time, a warning, or a plea. "Look," she whispered, her finger pointing towards a patch of stone that shimmered faintly. The light illuminated a doorway that had been hidden from their view, framed by the same unsettling symbols. This is it. The truth lies beyond." Lily shuddered but squeezed Jake's hand tighter, as if drawing strength from him. "Are you sure we're ready for whatever it is?" Hannah turned, her expression a mix of terror and determination. "I don't know. But we can't go back. We've come too far." Her eyes flickered in the light, revealing a depth of fear that resonated within them all. Taking a breath, Jake stepped forward, heart pounding louder than ever. He felt like a moth drawn to a flame. "Let us do this," he said, trying to inject some confidence into his voice. "We find the truth." Together, they approached the doorway, the air crackling with an electric tension. As they crossed the threshold, Jake was hit with a wave of cold air that felt almost alive. It wrapped around him, probing, searching as though it knew their intentions. Inside was a cavernous chamber, pillars and arches reaching upwards into a darkness that swallowed the light. At the center stood a pedestal, and upon it lay an object they couldn't quite make out. Shadows flickered against the walls, moving in a dance of despair and chaos. "Jake, look," Lily said, her voice breaking the silence. As his eyes adjusted, he recognized the object, a battered, leather-bound book, its pages worn and tattered. It seemed to pulse with energy, as though it was breathing, waiting for someone to uncover its secrets. "What is it?" Jake asked, stepping closer, the others following with a mixture of hope and trepidation. "It holds the memories," Hannah murmured. "Our memories. It's a record of everything that happened and what will happen if we don't change it." Cringing at her words, Jake reached out, hesitating just inches from the book. A surge of fear coursed through him. What if it was too much? What if the answers came with a price they couldn't afford? "Lily?" he asked softly, turning to her. "Are we really ready for this?" "Whatever is in there has been hidden for a reason," she replied, her voice steady, yet uncertain. Just then, a low growl rumbled through the chamber, shaking the ground beneath them. The shadows coiled tighter, and Jake knew they were not alone. "Jake! Behind you!" Hannah shouted. He spun around as a dark shape lunged from the shadows, its eyes glowing with a predatory hunger. In that moment, everything shifted. The pursuit wasn't just for knowledge but for survival. "Run!" Jake yelled as he grabbed Lily's and Hannah's hands, adrenaline pumping through him. Their instincts took over, propelling them backward. But as they retreated, Jake's gaze remained locked on the book, the weight of their decision looming over them. They could flee into the night, leaving the truth untouched, or stand firm and face the darkness that sought to consume them. Will we have the courage to confront our past? Jake thought, feeling the pulse of the stone walls around him. As they dashed for safety, the question lingered in his mind: was uncovering the truth their salvation or the beginning of their end? And then he heard it, a voice rising from the shadows. "You can't run from what's inside you." With that chilling reminder echoing in his ears, they scrambled toward the exit, knowing that time was slipping through their fingers. Would they escape, or would they confront not just the darkness outside but the shadows within themselves? The air turned electric as they darted through the cavern, the echo of their footsteps matching the frantic beat of Jake's heart. Shadows merged and twisted, gnashing teeth, but the real terror lurked within them, the secrets of the past, the truth that had haunted them for far too long. "Don't look back," Jake urged, the imperative pushing them forward. They stumbled out of the stone chamber, bursting into the fading light beyond. Strings of twilight brushed against the remnants of the day, capturing their breathless fear. "Did we lose it?" Lily gasped, her voice trembling. They paused, chest heaving, eyes wide, scanning the edges of the encroaching darkness. "Not yet," Hannah whispered, her gaze turned inward as if bracing for something they couldn't yet see. "Why did we even come here?" The weight of regret surged in Jake's chest, alongside a determination he couldn't shake. "We need to find out what it means, what it all connects to." Lily's eyes shimmered, filled with questions that threatened to spill over. But Hannah was scared, and if she was, we have to consider that we might not like what we find. Tension hummed between them, rolling like thunderclouds in the distance. "We didn't come this far to turn back now," Jake declared, his voice carrying an air of resolve. "We owe it to Hannah, and to ourselves. This is about more than just her, it's about all of us." Hannah stepped forward, her eyes blazing. "If we're going to uncover this truth, we have to do it together. No more secrets, no more running." It sent a shiver down Jake's spine. She was fierce, almost pleading. "You're right," he said closer. "Let us take it and face whatever comes next. We'll share the burden, not just the truth." With a shared nod, they turned back toward the dark expanse of the woods, their feet moving as one entity guided by the echoes of memories long hidden. They descended deeper into the now familiar forest, each step resonating with purpose. The path was suffocating, filled with the rustling of unseen eyes, but Jake felt an unfamiliar warmth ignite in his spirit. They weren't just searching for answers, they were piecing together a legacy of love and loss. That realization fueled his resolve. Just as they approached the old oak tree, Jake suddenly felt a tremor beneath his feet, a rumbling that reverberated through the ground. "The box, the letters!" Jake exclaimed, recalling tales of forgotten memories waiting to be unearthed. "We need to bring those back. They might be connected to the truth we seek." Lily nodded, her expression a blend of fear and hope. What if those letters are the key that opens everything up? What if they hold Hannah's truth? With the path leading them back, they quickly dug through their pockets, drawing out the metal box. It shimmered in the low light, now brimming with voices of a past eager to be heard. "There's a letter, open it," Jake urged, racing anticipation. Lily carefully lifted the first note, her brow furrowing in concentration. It's dated the day before she disappeared. "I found a friend in the woods, someone who understands. Tomorrow, I will show them my special place." Her breath caught, a pang of emotion reflected in her eyes. Jake's chest squeezed tight. "It might be the link we need. We're close, I can feel it." As they delved deeper into Hannah's world, hope ignited within the shadows that had once loomed so large. The more they uncovered, the brighter their surroundings became. The air lightened, the oppressive weight lifted, as if Hannah's spirit whispered gratitude. With each letter read aloud, Lily's voice grew steadier, a bond forming between them as they revealed Hannah's joys, dreams, and fears. They were reuniting the frayed threads of a reality torn apart by silence. In that moment, Jake understood, the past couldn't be erased, but it could be honored, woven into their very beings. At the heart of it all, Jake turned and met Lily's gaze. "You know what this means? It's a chance to reconcile, not just with Hannah, but with ourselves. To move forward, together." As the sky above transformed into a tapestry of orange and pink hues, they arrived at the clearing once more. The shadows of the forest seemed less threatening now. They stood together, arms around each other, bracing for the next chapter of their lives. The essence of family surged through them, the shared laughter, the bittersweet memories. Jake stepped forward toward the ancient stone structure, a smile breaking through, shining brighter than it had in years. "Let us share our story. Let Hannah's voice ring out, so we can heal this community together," Jake declared, his confidence bursting forth. Lily's eyes sparkled with determination. "We can use the letters, the memories, to celebrate her life, and to bring peace to our own." As they gathered around, a newfound warmth pulsed through the air. The weight of the world began to lift as they envisioned the moment of sharing, taking this precious truth back to the town that had been waiting for it far too long. Let those who need to hear it know that love endures even beyond loss. Leaving the shadows of fear behind, they turned to the path leading back, ready to embrace the future with open arms. With every step they took back toward town, they understood without words that the journey had forged them anew. They were no longer just a grieving father and a distant daughter, but a family united by hope, bound by love, and ready to bring light to the darkness, and together, they would unravel the magic of remembrance that connected them all. To those watching this journey unfold, remember, the bonds of family and truth are powerful forces. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support and not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep our community growing. Comment your feelings about this emotional conclusion, what it means to you, and how you relate to Jake and Lily. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation.